So San Francisco, Philly, Nashville, Lexington. Is Lexington like any of the previous three?
No, it's definitely different. I kind of start with Philly. Like, I grew up in that kind of environment. It was very minority. It was in a section in North Philadelphia that was a little bit dangerous. So it was kind of like familiar for me, just being in San Francisco and where I grew up. So it was exciting. But then going to Nashville was just a complete culture shock. Just definitely the country music was different. Broadway was different. Seeing people go on runs at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night was definitely different. But I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the city of Nashville, the culture that it has. I actually enjoyed some of the country music, not gonna lie. I went to a Luke Combs concert, which was very different. And then come to Lexington. I think Lexington has just been a place where I felt love. People embrace me, embrace the culture of, the football program here, the city of Lexington. The goal is definitely to try to get to a horse race or, just because I don't know nothing about that, to be honest with you. Only way I found out was from Will Levis's commercial. That's about the most I know. But I love it, man. I love it a lot, and I can't wait to explore more and more each and every day.
So who are you cheering for, the Eagles or Niners?
Oh, I want to go hometown, the Niners. I call it 17-24.
That Vanderbilt game was the low point for Kentucky season. Obviously, it was a great moment for you. What do you remember about that afternoon, and what impression did that leave on you when you were making this game?
Just kind of talk a little bit brief about the game. It was a big day for the Vanderbilt program. Obviously with the struggles that they had in the recent years, it was just a big game to have. It was a big game to be a part of, and to know that I was able to contribute to just a historic day. But I think just the way that the Kentucky guys handled themselves, after the loss, a lot of guys came up and spoke to us. I got a chance to talk to some of the coaches, and just going against that defense. That defense was monstrous. You got Deion up front, you got the young core linebacker, you got the secondary. So I knew defensively that they had the pieces to go up against anybody. And then offensively too, just knowing that they were missing just a few pieces once the season ended. And I felt that, if I come in and try to earn my spot, earn those reps, and try to get the starting job, then I think I could help out the team and get us through that threshold of potentially competing for an SEC championship. So that played a lot in it. But at the end of the day, it was more so just the fans. Just how much they embraced me on Twitter. I think I got 1.2 million views on my commitment video, so that was definitely different. I felt a little bit famous, but I loved it and I loved everything about it. But to kind of talk about Vandy, that was a great place. It taught me a lot as a young man. I learned, I was developed as a football player, as an athlete, as a student athlete. I had some great up and down years, there, being there for 2 years, some close games, some heartbreakers. So, I commend those guys, what they did, that coaching staff coming in and kind of setting up a new culture. So I got lots of respect for Vanderbilt. I was able to finish with my degree there to be an alumni. That's very big for me and my family. So, kudos to those guys. But, week 4 coming around, we're going to be a little bit, we'll still be friends, but within the white lines, we won't be.
Did that make the decision harder, I guess?
It's different. You got bigger boys up front. You got some guys that are going against who are going to be top 15, top 20 picks in the draft that following year. So it's just about coming in and competing and doing what you got to do, knowing that it's not going to be a walk in the park. This conference is the best conference. I think everybody can agree to that. It's the next to the NFL. So you got to take care of your body the right way. You got to be able to prepare mentally and physically the right way, because it's not going to just be you're going to go and get 100 yards. You're going to have to fight just to get 50 yards. So I think that's the good thing, is it's tested me as a true running back, my vision, my eliteness, my elusiveness to be able to bring the whole game around me.
Did that make the decision harder leaving Vandy? Like, you're going to a division opponent. Were you ever like, am I really about to do this, or was it you just got to do what's best for you?
It was hard. The decision was very, very hard. I cried, talked to a lot of family members, because, again, I enjoyed my 2 years at Vandy. I enjoyed building those relationships, and it's hard to say goodbye to your true friends who you blood, sweat, and tears with on that field, fall camp, summer ball, et cetera. So it was definitely difficult. Having the possibility of potentially going back was definitely an option. But I had to do what's best for my family. I had to put myself in the best position to try to get to that next level. And kind of like I said a couple of days ago, but Kentucky is the place to be. As you can see, Benny Snell, C-Rod, Wandell, Denzel, there's countless names, Pascal, like there's countless of guys who came from Kentucky and is in the league today. So I knew if that's my goal and that's my dream, then this is where I got to be to achieve that.
You mentioned Chris and Benny. They've carried a heavy load here as the last two kind of featured backs. As a power back, I know you're kind of that same type of runner. Are you ready for maybe a load like that if called on?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I got to be Ray Davis. That's just what it is. I was born to be Ray Davis. I wasn't born to be C-Rod. I wasn't born to be Benny Snells. What those guys did was historic. Benny is in the history books. C-Rod's in the history books. But right now, I got to focus on just getting my foot in the door. And once I'm able to establish that, then Lexington's going to know who Ray Davis is, and I can be able to put myself in that category with those guys. But I can't think that far into it. I definitely believe I can handle that workload. I had a 262 carries at Vandy. So I've proven it. I've done it in my younger career as a freshman, but when that time comes, that time comes. But I can't think about that right now. I got to think about going out there and winning the job.
What are the similarities and differences between? Inevitably, people are going to compare you to C-Rod, especially because he just left here. But what are some of the things that are similar and different in your style?
I don't really think about that so much. I ain't really paid attention to it. Again, he's C-Rod, I'm Ray Davis, and that's just what it is. The biggest similarity is we both went to Kentucky. That's the best I can say right there. That's the biggest similarity.
Ray, there's been talk about offensive line rebuilding, playing with more tenacity, being more physical. Running back kind of ties into that with running the football. Do you feel like that's a big theme of the offense so far, is to get that physicality back, or what can you bring as kind of a runner to add physicality to?
Yeah, no, I think the physicality is there. I don't think we need to bring it back. I don't think we need to improve. I think those guys up front have already proven, again, they belong in the SEC. They've done it for how many years they've been here, if it's guys who are older, even if it's guys who are young and got some experience. So I think the physicality is there. I think just, being cohesive, everybody getting on the same page. We got a new offense, a new OC, new quarterback, new running back, some new additions to the O-line. So once those new additions get acclimated to what this O-line already has done, I think that it'll reach a higher element of the game. But I think the physicality is there. I think those guys have been working hard. When I'm in the weight room in my lift, those guys have already finished lifting, but they're getting extra work. They're trying to go, become better in that 1% era. So, I think they're really improving every day, and you're going to see when spring ball comes.
Ray, you mentioned some of those Kentucky defenders you went up against in that game. Have you had any fun conversations about hard hits or plays or whatever, running over a guy or anything?
Yeah, no, I always joke around. I said if anybody wants to talk crap during practice, I'm going to bring up the game where they played us against Vandy and just talk about 129 yards. So, it's been fun. We laugh and we talk, and, some of the guys, they talk about the game. But, I don't really talk much about it. I'm a Kentucky Wildcat. I'm not a Vanderbilt, a Commodore anymore. So that's in the past. Like I said, if anybody want to, talk a little smack, that's my comeback right there until we start spring ball. And once we start spring ball, then it'll be different.
In all seriousness, in this age of the transfer portal, there's going to be situations like that where you were going against guys and your teammates. How do you all manage those kind of interactions just in this era when so many guys are going?
It's just. It's just life, that's what it is. It's the way of college football, It's one of those you got to adapt and learn pretty fast. I feel like I've been on this team for the past 2-3 years, just because these guys, they've embraced me, they've welcomed me in. It's like a family. When I got here the first couple of days, I did feel a little bit alone because I didn't know anybody. But those guys didn't, that didn't last for that long. Guys were coming up to me, Devin Lear, we were sticking together. We were embraced and loved, and everybody cared for us, and they continue to talk to us. So, it's different when you're on the other side and you're going against those guys you don't know nothing about. But then once you're with them, you learn a little bit about them. You start to embrace them as a teammate and as family.
When you went out for your first play last year at Grovefield and you saw Dion over there, what was your thought?
Oh, I was just saying, let's not run inside zone. let's go outside zone as best as we can, or let's do some duo where we put him in double team combos. He was talking some smack throughout the game, but I told him I'm gonna keep bringing it. I'm gonna keep coming. I broke a couple tackles. He got me. But yeah, no, I just said let's not run inside zone for a little bit, or if we do, let's try to get him tired where they substitute him. But he's a good defender. He's good. He's a freshman, which is insane to me. But I think he's only going to get better and better, and I'm excited to be able to go against him every day in spring ball, fall camp, whatever the case may be. I'm happy I'm not going against him now on the opposite side, but I will be letting people know that good luck trying to go against them.
With the way that this team has developed transfers and brought guys in and sent them to the next level, how much did that play into your decision to come here, just with your transfer success?
Played a lot. Again, I named some of the guys earlier who were in the next level, and it played a huge dividend in why I wanted to come here. Again, the history of, I would say this is RBU, recently with the two guys that was here. So just the RBU part of it was the big blue wall that, has been pretty historic throughout the year. So it was big. It played a big part. But the biggest would say the staff, the facility. I mean, the staff, people who work here, the teammates, the extended staff. My athletic advisor, Tatum, she's great. Heather, it was a bunch of people that I knew mentally I would be in the right headspace coming here.
Ray or Ray?
Ray.
Some people like to scoff at the term student athlete. You got a Vandy degree. What do you say about that?
Vandy's hard. Anybody knows, I think it has like a 7% acceptance rate. But nah, man, being a student athlete is big. That's like it's a serious statement. It's serious because if you don't got the grades, you can't play. There's a lot of guys who aren't blessed in the ability to be academically tooled, and I was one of those guys. But I would say for us athletes, it is hard, but we got resources, and it's about just using those resources and going out there and not being afraid to ask for help. And that's what I had to learn, is to be able to ask for help. And I think that's why I was able to get my degree at Vandy, because I didn't shy, I wasn't afraid, and I used my resources, my athletic advisor, I used my own advisor, tutors, study hall. I was in there because I knew how big this degree was big, and I knew the stereotype of student athlete. People typically say athlete student, but I live by the student athlete term. I got communication studies. Yes, sir. Yeah. Communication studies.
You mentioned
Wait.
getting into
What running back do you model yourself after?
I thought you played running back. Do you not play running back? Well, it's not you for sure. I would say I mold myself as, as a little Darren Sproles. It's a little quick, short, I could do a lot of different things. But, definitely I model myself after you some days. I look at you and I go, that is a great man right there. That's a great answer.
Devin mentioned getting into the playbook and studying what Liam wants to do. What kind of stands out to you about that process with a new offensive coordinator, a new quarterback, and new surrounding sort of the system?
It's a challenge because you have to come in and adapt to a new playbook. You have to adapt to a lot of different things, different word plays, schemes, etc. So it's fun because it's a challenge. Everybody wants to be challenged. It's about just having to, who's going to be the person to stick in, who's going to stay in late nights, who's going to have that extra work, who's going to watch extra film, and that just makes the competitor out to you. And that's what me and Dev have been doing a lot. We've been together watching film, learning new calls, learning new run schemes, and then having Coach Cohen back. He's big on getting his players the ball, getting his offensive weapons the ball. As you guys saw that with Wandell 2 years ago. He came in spectacular with C-Rod. So, it's about just learning the playbook and then having the ability to do what he needs you to do on the field and off the field.
Do you know if there's anything that Liam does in his playbook and his play calling that may help you add a dimension to your game that maybe we haven't seen much of yet?
Yeah, him calling plays. Just about getting myself in space and making, helping myself get to those one-on-ones in the back end of the field, against those DBs and stuff like that. We do a lot of different things that's going to put me in one-on-one positions to showcase I can make a guy miss. So that's going to be real big for my next challenge to get into that next level.
With Devin, it seems like you all have a pretty solid relationship already. Just what were your first impressions of him?
Funny thing is, me and Dev actually, we knew each other, but we didn't know each other. Being from Philly, going to school in Philly, to him being from Jersey, we kind of had some ties together. We knew a lot of the same people. So the first day we got here, we actually sat in my car for about 10, 20 minutes, and we just talked and we chopped it up. And I knew this guy was going to be a very close friend of mine because we had the same goals and we wanted to get to where we needed to get to. So, I think we gelled pretty fast. And again, we're getting better every day because we're watching film and spending a lot of time together. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.